Family arguments. When did you realize you went too far? I've always been super close with my mom. Like, we talk on the phone every day, sometimes twice. My dad, Richard, used to get so annoyed about it, calling me a mama's boy and whatever. Growing up, things weren't great between my parents. Richard would constantly belittle my mom, making nasty comments about her cooking, her weight, how she spent money. It got worse after he lost his job when I was in high school. One night when I was 18, he was screaming at her over some stupid bill, and I just snapped. I got between them and shoved him hard. He fell into the coffee table and got a huge gash on his arm. My mom freaked out and called 911, but when the cops came, she told them I had been violent for weeks. I later found out she was terrified of Richard's reaction if she defended me. He had threatened to kick us both out if she ever took my side again. She thought the psychiatric facility would be safer for me than staying home with him in a rage. I ended up spending 7 months in a psychiatric facility. Those 7 months were absolute hell. They had me on meds that made me feel like a zombie, and group therapy where everyone kept saying I had anger issues. The whole time, I couldn't stop thinking about what had happened with my mom. I was just trying to protect her. When I finally got out, I went to stay with my Uncle James, who lived a few blocks from our house. Richard had convinced the doctors I was stable enough to be released, but shouldn't live at home right away. Mom had moved to her sister Patricia's place, telling me in hushed phone calls she was working on things and would explain everything soon. After 2 weeks at my uncle's, I started visiting our house during the day when Richard was at his new job. He'd found work at a warehouse where they didn't care about his temper. One Friday, he spotted me getting mail and surprisingly invited me to move back in, saying we needed to be men about this situation. That night, I heard him on the phone with Mom, saying she shouldn't come back because I was unstable and dangerous. He said, "Linda, I've got him under control now. The meds made him manageable, but you're better off staying away." I lay awake planning exactly how I'd make him pay. Not just for hurting Mom all those years, but for turning her against me and continuing to keep us apart. The next morning, I went through his dresser and found his anxiety meds. That's when I got the idea. I crushed his meds and mixed them into his whiskey that night. When he passed out, I took pictures of him with a bunch of empty bottles and sent them to his boss from his phone saying he quit. Took his car keys too. Richard was perfect for this plan because he was already a loner. No friends ever visited, and he'd told neighbors weeks ago to stop coming by. His boss tried calling once, but I answered and said he was going through some stuff and would call back later. For 3 days, I kept him sedated, making him think he was having some kind of breakdown. I disconnected the internet and hid his phone after sending that message. The whole time I kept telling him Mom was never coming back because of how he treated her. On the 4th day, I called 911 saying my dad was suicidal. By the time they took him away, he couldn't even speak coherently. I packed my stuff that night and left town. Never saw either of my parents again. But sometimes I wonder if Mom knows what I did for her.